It's been 76 days without load shedding. So how much are you paying for electricity? How carefully do you scrutinize your bill? Is it bang for your buck? I want to know from you, particularly if you've got solar, has it reduced your bill? Should Nersa approve a 12% hike? Not quite, says the lobby group AfriForum. You remember, of course, Eskom tariffs have gone up by 12.7%. Those will be passed on to municipalities, who will pass it on to you, the consumer. But AfriForum says there are some problems with how all of this is determined. What will it mean for the economy? Firstly, we're joined by Morne Mostert, who is AfriForum's local government affairs manager. Dawie Roodt, the economist, will also explain. Morne, let me start with you. Just to be perfectly clear, are we going to be paying more for electricity this year?
Well, our court application says that at least municipal licensees or municipal consumers hopefully will not pay an additional amount. Our application is based on the legislative requirements as well as a court order obtained in 2022, which says that all municipalities or actually licensees must have a cost of supply document that basically informs the tariff. Without this document, you cannot really determine what the tariff of a municipality should be. And it makes it difficult to review any application because you don't have all the details for that. So 2 years back, a court mandated Nersa to put these costs to put pressure on municipalities to get these cost of supply studies in place, and they did not do so. They actually used the same methodology that they used that was not only declared unlawful and unconstitutional, but they now only try to apply it on a normal brief that they send to the municipalities. We do think that this is irregular, and in that same court order in 2022, the court already mentioned that municipal licensees are overcharging municipal consumers already. So it's not like the municipalities are going to be prejudiced because a court already determined that they are overcharging consumers. So in short, to answer your question, we certainly don't hope that inefficiencies of municipalities are just passed on to consumers and there's no indication on what the actual costs are that you're paying for electricity.
As you say, it's part of legislation, I think, as early as 2006, and this court order from October 2022. How would a cost study for tariff increases be critical for consumers?
So at this stage, for the past, let's say, decade, the only thing that Nersa has done with electricity tariff increases was only increased by increments of a percentage. So there is no way or which a consumer or the municipality itself could go and say, but what is the actual cost? What is the actual cost of me delivering this service and selling electricity? One must remember that the legislation is also clear that only an efficient licensee may be able to profit from selling electricity to consumers. So the question is any of these municipalities being an efficient licensee but not doing the prerequisite studies to be able to sell electricity to consumers? I think an important part is also that municipalities have gotten away with not supplying any details with regards to the costs of actually generating or rather transmitting electricity and selling it to consumers. They have made large amounts of profits by selling electricity to consumers without doing the due diligence what is required from them.
But if I may come in there, Morne, and to be fair, we did invite Nersa to join us for this conversation. They declined, but they have instructed municipalities to carry out cost studies, have they not?
Yes. After the court order that was obtained last year, about October, there was a letter sent from Nersa to all municipalities, warning them that if they do not do cost of supply studies, they won't be able to get electricity tariff increase, which is obviously in line with what should have happened. But in January this year, the story changed woefully. They then sent a letter to all municipalities to say, if you can send me this few information or this few steps, then we will consider then the tariff increase. So then AfriForum in April, we wrote a letter to Nersa saying that maybe they should explain to us what is the current situation, explain to us how many municipalities have then complied and have added the cost of supply studies to their tariff application. But Nersa decided to stay silent, just like they didn't come on to your show, where AfriForum was forced to start the legal proceedings and to litigate against Nersa. And I want to say that this application is forward-looking. The purpose of it is not only to stop the additional costs to be handed over to consumers, but I think more importantly, it's for municipalities to get their act together, that in the next financial year, if they do not get a tariff increase now, they would be, let's say, energized to do it before the next financial year. And that will ensure a healthier electricity and energy sector as a whole, which is also one of the purposes why we are launching this application.
And to be clear, the outcome, should it be favorable, will only apply to municipal customers and not those who get their supply directly from Eskom.
Yes, but just one additional thing, municipalities that have cost of supply studies, about 7 months back there were only 2, but those municipalities will also be able to actually apply for a tariff increase.
All right, Morne Mosta, appreciate your time. AfriForum's Local Government Affairs Manager. Listening to that is the economist Dawie Roodt. Thank you so much for your time this morning. I suppose the broader comment I need from you is, how do municipalities respond if they are found to have fallen foul of that court order and the legislation that Morne has just mentioned? Can they cope without getting that increase?
The short answer is probably no, but maybe just a bit of a background. At the moment, what is happening at Eskom, as we all know, has got outstanding debt of hundreds of billions of rand. Eskom is probably going to make a loss in excess of 20 billion rand this year again. And of course, Eskom wants to get out of financial difficulties, and they do that by increasing prices of electricity by roughly about 12% or so, which is well above the inflation rate. The municipalities, in the meantime, are also, the majority of municipalities are very deep in financial troubles as well. More than approximately 75% of municipalities in South Africa cannot stand on their own financial feet. And in the meantime, the outstanding debt of municipalities to Eskom is approximately 75 billion rand as well. And every month that increases at a rate of about 1 or 2 billion rand. And of course, that is an unsustainable situation. And the municipalities want to somehow get more money, and very quite easy. What they try to do now is simply increase the electricity prices to their customers, because electricity revenue is a very important source of revenue to municipalities, and that's exactly what they're trying to do now. If they can't get that, then, well, they will get into deeper financial troubles, or, and I think this is what Mr. Mostert is trying to say, or they have to improve their efficiency. Because let's be honest, the municipalities, not all of them, but municipalities, broadly speaking, are not very efficient. You simply have to go through the smaller towns and see what's going on in terms of electricity provision and water and electricity and all of those, the pavements and all of that. So I think that is actually what AfriForum is trying to achieve.
Dawie Roodt, do we need a redesign of how government functions, particularly at local government level?
It's happening already. It's happening because, in the case of electricity, as an example, the private sector is simply taking this over. As a normal, somebody living in a city or in a town, you are not allowed to buy electricity from somebody else but from your local municipality. But what is gradually happening, people are moving off the grid, and in many instances, people are buying electricity from other providers. So yes, that is what is currently happening. We are, in a way, privatizing the whole electricity network in the country.
Not to mention, of course, how hard-pressed many South Africans are in these tough economic times.
Yes, well, the last 15 years, as an example, we are now on a per capita income the same way we were close to 20 years ago. We made just about no progress. So if you keep on increasing these prices are called administrative prices. It's a price determined by some sort of authority somewhere, in this case Nersa. And if you keep on increasing prices like this, then you're putting more and more pressure on the average consumer in South Africa. And the reality is that the economy simply cannot afford these kind of price increases.
Dawie Roodt, appreciate your thoughts. Economist there weighing in on electricity price increases. If you do have solar, I'd love to know, has your bill come down?
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.